Oh, she did. Here's a mark on it.
What? Yeah, Moderna. What's this one again? I can't. I'm not doing that one. Scott, did you want to call Nick on your phone? Or do you want to?
I just want to remind everyone before we start the meeting that we are, Mr. Benton, from his house, he's able to videotape the room, so we are going to be live. So.
Have no visitors?
All right, we're starting now.
There's no visitors. Okay. I'd like to call the school board meeting to order. If everyone would please rise, join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, at this time, Mr. Lego, we have a roll call, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Mrs. Dissing.
Here.
Mr. Kachasik.
Present.
Dr. Costco is absent this evening. Mr. Bill Leonard is absent this evening. Mr. Dallas Leonard.
Here.
Mr. Matarazzo.
Here.
Mr. Nemec.
Here.
Mr. Petrucci. Mr. Petrucci is here via phone. Mr. Stovar.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Lego. At this time, we turn the meeting over to Dr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Matarazzo. The only thing I have tonight for information is every year we do a safety plan update, and for the and we have to read it at one of our board meetings, and I submit it to the state. But it just to give you a little summary of what we did in the past year is 2019 was the last time we had a private company review our safety plans, conduct walkthrough safety audits of each building, and meet with each school principal and safety team to make recommendations as part of our audit. Since then, we've made several changes and updates to our schools using the recommendations. These updates or changes are discussed during the monthly safety meetings that take place at the district level. In addition to the annual audit, each school conducts an annual review of the school's audit and reviews the safety plan with the staff at their school. Each school also has a yearly lockdown drill that is reported to the state through PIMS, as well as monthly fire drills and 2 annual bus evacuation drills. At each building, we have either an armed security officer or a school resource officer who receives the appropriate training and certifications on an annual basis. I would also like to thank the police as they do daily drive-bys and walkthroughs as part of their normal routine. They also do nighttime walkthroughs as well, which I really appreciate that they're on our campuses at night. We have the Raptor system that creates cross-references all visitors' driver's license with the state police database. In addition, we have over 350 security cameras throughout the districts, plus door jams and secured entrances at each building. So we do a great job with the safety, but we do evaluate it every year, and if there's something we need to update or add, we do it. And I do appreciate the mill you put aside for safety for all of our armed officers at the buildings. So that helps tremendous, so thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Prior to this meeting, the Board of School Directors convened for an executive session at 5:15, and there we discussed personnel, negotiations. And also, at this time, does any board member have a motion out of our executive session to present?
Mr. President, I do have a couple motions I'd like to proceed with.
Okay,
A motion to approve agreement with Dr. Matt Harris effective July 1st and an annual salary of $160,349.
is there any
Question.
question?
Well,
Okay.
before we vote, I'd
Yes.
like to open up if there's any public comment on that. Since we're voting on it, we didn't have any prior week. So anybody in the public want to comment before we make the vote? This is your time to go ahead.
I think that's a crowd that's not going to say a word about that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I appreciate it. You actually approved my 5-year extension earlier this year, so every contract runs out. The last 2 I had was a 4-year extension, so I do appreciate the extra years, more faith in me. I take it, so
Well-
the
well
5
earned.
years, 5 years is nice, so
Congratulations.
thank you very much, and I
We're
appreciate
very
it.
happy to have you.
I'm very happy to be here.
All right, and I have a second motion to approve the agreement with Mr. Scott and Glaze effective July 1st at an annual salary of $156,110.
Second.
Any question on the motion?
Question. Again,
it's
this
been
will be
moved and
another opportunity for the public to comment if they like before we make the final vote.
This crowd might say something about Scott.
Yeah,
Can I say something? Can I?
hey, you're public.
All right.
All right,
Okay, we
I
have-
also want to thank the board, too. I appreciate your confidence in both Dr. Harris and myself. It's been a pleasure to work for the district. You've all been extremely supportive over the years, and look forward to 5 more good quality years, so thank you very much.
we're fortunate to have you both, so thank you for the efforts, especially this past year with all the issues you've had to deal with. Keeping our school open was something to be very proud of, I think everybody would agree. So thank you.
Scott and I make a nice team, and he's excellent to work with.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That is all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. I'd like the public to be aware that we do an evaluation process at each board member, the 9 board members. We fill out a form and evaluate our superintendent, assistant superintendent, not only on personal qualities, characteristics, leadership, about 9 categories, but also on what's been accomplished, taking a look at scores, test scores, how the school's doing. It's a thorough evaluation, and so these guys, they made it through. So again, as Mr. Katasik said, we appreciate you and want to keep you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, at this time, we would have before I get to the consent agenda, we don't have any visitors tonight, so that's nothing to, other than our lovely guests that are here, but no visitors that say anything. Old business.
We have none this evening, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lego. Mentioned the executive session. Now I moved what's called the consent agenda motion. These are items to be removed from the consent agenda. Does anyone have any concern? Consent agenda, we're just moving through things so you don't have to hear the a formality.
And Mr. President, just a note, inside the consent agenda, I will be abstaining from a vote for a person on there. It's a relative of mine, so I will be abstaining on that hire.
So noted, Mr. Katsasik.
Did that not get moved to, Ms. Kelly, help me out, is that one of the ones that got moved to the, being read by Mr.
It's in the,
Katsasik?
no, it's still in the consent
Still in
agenda.
the consent?
That one is not, it's on the personnel.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thanks, sorry.
Just wanted to note that publicly.
Have it noted if it's in the minutes. Okay, then, we have an approval to accept the consent agenda. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Hey. Any questions, review? No one?
Question was called by Mr. Petrucci.
Oh, good. Long distance. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so now we get to move about 10 pages
We
up.
go from page 4 to page 19.
I like, my bad math on my part, sorry about that. So we go over to page 19.
Getting the fun stuff.
The fun stuff. Okay, At this time, our Budget and Finance Committee Chairman, Mr. Nemec.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
Before I start this, Mr. Lego, in this motion, the 89.25 mils, what does that reflect as any increase, or
That is a 2 mil increase.
that is a 2 mil increase over current millage?
And you are, you can make that motion be whatever you want, Mr. Nemec. You can read it. If you don't want not 89.25, you read it the way you want it.
Thank you, Mr. Lego.
You're welcome.
Move to recommend that the 2021-2022 school district budget and schedules in the amount of $60,911,701 properly advertised in accordance with the school laws of Pennsylvania be adopted and filed in the official board minutes to include the following taxes as shown in the budget. Now, I'm going to read what's on the paper. Real estate tax at a rate of 89.25 mils. That's $8.92.5 on each $100 assessed valuation of property. Real estate tax rate for Allegheny County portion located in Trafford Borough is 15.25 mils. Per capita tax, section 679, school laws of Pennsylvania, at a rate of $5 on each eligible resident. Act 511 taxes, per capita tax $10, occupation resident tax $10, local service tax $52, real estate transfer tax 1%, earned income tax, earned income and net profits tax 1%, and the budget breakdown is as listed.
All right, it's been moved. Do we have a second? It has been moved. Do we have a second? If I'm allowed, can I second? No? Okay. I'll second it. Thank you. Mr. Petrucci seconds the motion. So we have a motion that's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions?
I have a question. I want to make a comment. I'm still the index of 3 mills, which I've done this aging buildings, and I've done this for the past 12 or 14 years. In a category called capital improvements only, and I did second the 2 million.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions to the motion? Any questions? Any comments? Okay, at this time, be a roll call vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All- I will, well, we will pull the board. Mr. Lego?
Okay, Mrs. Ising,
No.
Mr. Kachasik,
No.
Mr. Dallas Leonard,
No.
Mr. Matarazzo,
Yes.
Mr. Nemec,
No.
Mr. Petrucci. Yes for Mr. Petrucci. Mr. Stovar.
No.
Okay, we have 2 yes, 7 no. The motion does not carry. I'm sorry, 2 and 5.
6.
2 and 5, sorry.
Yeah.
2-5 with 2 absent. Sorry about that. Okay, motion does not carry.
Okay, our motion did not carry. Now, at this point then, is there another motion on the budget? We have another motion on the floor for the budget.
Anybody can make a motion at this point.
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we raise $1 million dedicated to capital improvements.
We have a motion for 1 mil increase on capital improvements.
Dedicated.
Dedicated. Make sure I state that right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, do we have any questions on the motion? We have a motion that's been seconded for a 1 mil increase dedicated to building.
Can I just I'll make one clarification. Included in the expenditure budget, which would not change based under the current motion, there is 1 mil that would be dedicated for transfer to the capital improvement fund. So that is in there.
Right, I want to add an extra mill because we really do need to get the ball rolling on some of these building projects.
So there would be 2 dedicated mills in the budget for capital improvements, based on your motion, right?
Okay, so
Of the two mills proposed in the original motion, One was for general fund, one was for capital already.
Correct.
And
basically.
Tony, you're proposing to take out the one to the general fund and keep the
Yes,
one in
yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
for the capital improvements.
Okay, so an overall 1 mil increase, and that mill is strictly
We need
dedicated
your mic on, Tony, too.
toward
I'm so sorry.
the capital improvements.
Yes.
So, okay. And I think the budget properly reflects that right now. And if I'm misinterpreting, we can always make a transfer later. But the intention would be to take 1 mil, transfer it from the general fund into the capital improvement fund. Okay, I got it.
So that clarification again, there was 1 mil, it came back out, it's going back in. And if the budget is if the tax increased by 1 further mill, there'd be 2 mills in the capital, dedicated to capital improvement fund.
Categorized as all capital improvements or new capital improvements only?
That would be for any capital improvement project, Mr. Petrucci.
Now, Mr. Leonard had a question.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Leonard had a question, Mr. Lagos.
So to answer Mr. Leonard, it's my understanding that the 1 mil that's going into the capital improvement fund stays as currently constructed, and that we're not taking an additional 1 mil and putting it into that account. Now, we can, if we want to do that, then that's changes well, it wouldn't change the overall expenditures, but I would have to shift some money around.
We only have 1 mil in capital improvements.
1 mil.
Well, don't we already have one like dedicated?
We don't, because we eliminated it last year.
Okay,
Under the COVID budget,
Right,
basically.
right.
Right. So this budget restores that 1 mil.
okay.
So the
Well-
question is, if we restore that 1 mil and we pay for it with the increase we just had,
Yes.
all right, and then, so that's where we're at. Not that mill plus the other mill that from years ago,
Okay, I get what you're saying. I was thinking 2 years ago, we already had that mill.
but we took it out last year.
We took it out last year.
We did, right.
Right, so my proposal is just a 1 mil increase, total mill increase, and that mill goes back into capital
It
budget.
restores the old millage that we took.
Right.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Brad, what is your recommendation? I know when we started off with the 2 mills, which was our recommendation, what do you feel comfortable with as a business manager?
Well,
2 mills, one for general fund.
you know, we recommended a 2 mil increase because that's what, for the long-term health of the district, we felt was the correct approach. Having said that, I also understand there's a consensus among the board to see how this COVID money plays out, and that we take maybe a year off to reassess that. So even though I think 2 mills is appropriate, I think that 1 mil, if that's the majority of the board's consensus, will make it work.
Because I am always worried about the future enrollments right now. Our enrollment is getting higher. We had an extra need for staffing needs. We have extra needs for special education dollars to be spent on building improvements, future building projects, different things coming up through the district. And I'm always
Mr.
worried.
Lego, where are we currently at right now with our unassigned fund balance?
Money only, it's not annually.
Right, Mr. Petrucci's point was the COVID money is one-time money, which is correct. Now, the latest round of money, we have a couple years to spend it, but he's correct. It is one-time money that we can't count on to really fund ongoing expenditures. That is absolutely true. I'm sorry, Mr. Nemick, what was your question?
What is our current unassigned fund balance? What's the level right now?
It's about $6 million.
About $6 million.
And $2 million we have assigned for extraordinary expenses related to either capital improvements or we had put it aside for the Peasers, the pension problem, which we've kind of been able to manage that. So we still have this dedicated money in the event of some unforeseen building circumstance that we need to take care of.
And if
$6
we,
million, yes.
and if we would pass this budget with no millage increase to the general fund, what would our shortfall be?
Our
projected?
shortfall would be somewhere around $1.2 million.
1.2 million. Right, thank you.
Now, having said that, if revenues continue the way that they have last year, once we get through this economic downturn that we're gonna have, I anticipate it'll be less than that, but based on everything right now, it'd be $1.2 million deficit in the budget.
And just backing up a little bit, just to clarify in my mind, last year, you pulled the 1 mil dedicated for construction out of the budget.
Correct.
Now, the proposed budget, it was already built back into the proposed budget?
Correct.
And the 2 mills that were put on top of that, one was an additional millage for, no?
No. One basically put that capital reserve transfer back in, and the other one was going into general operations.
Okay, so one of them was to put it back in?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So now we're just kind of shaving the one off of the general operations, because we anticipate now revenues are gonna be a little bit better, that'll cover that, and we're still gonna dedicate the 1 mil to the capital reserve.
So if we're shaving off 1 mil, which is, what, approximately $300,000?
Correct.
So even with that 1 mil, we would still be coming up like $900,000 short?
Basically,
fund?
correct. Somewhere between it's between $800,000 and
Right,
$900,000.
okay. So we still would be using fund balance to balance the budget?
Correct.
Okay.
That you are absolutely correct.
But with the real estate market moving the way it is and the need for people to work, I mean, I guess I'm just trying to be optimistic and say that we're not gonna be in such dire straits.
Well, I would say that the trend the last couple of years in real estate transfers and, the assessments have been very positive.
Yeah.
Not something we can bank on, so that's
No.
why we don't budget it. But in the last couple of years, we've been positive somewhere close to 2 mils at the end of the year between the transfers and the assessment. So when we say that we're gonna have a deficit of somewhere between $800,000 and $900,000, if those trends continue, then we're down to maybe $200,000. And, if expenditure trends continue the way they have been, because we budget very conservatively, I think by the end of the year, we should be pretty close to break even. But I can't sit here today and tell you that we're gonna break even, because my crystal ball gets a little cloudy, so I never know for sure. But the trends would dictate that real estate will continue the way it is, and expenditures should be to the point where we should be closer to a break even at the end of the next fiscal year.
But as a budget business manager, you did suggest the 2
I
mills.
certainly did, yes, because I'm very conservative, and, I'd rather have more money in the bank than less. So that's why we went in with the 2 mills, because I think the budget supported that when we put it together, yes.
Other clarification for you, Mr. Lego. If the board chooses to pass the 1 mil into the capital reserve, and there is money that needs to be used out of that capital reserve for emergency, whatever it is, that can be done with a 2/3 vote of the board.
If it's not building capital improvement related, yes, then the board would need by 2/3 vote to put that money back into the
General
general
fund.
fund, correct. So it is a possibility.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Again, recognizing that our business manager and superintendent recommended the 2 mil increase. Sometimes things come down to the money. People here came from the state or the federal government, this American Rescue Plan. I want to let you know the inequity of this situation. Just read a little bit of this. Did you know that Allentown School District got $88 million? Put that in perspective, because I'm waiting to tell what PT got. And Norwin, local district, $3 million, and I'm just rounding it off. Penn Hills got $11 million. Penn Trafford, $2,300. So we didn't have as much money to work with. Take a look at some of these other.
2.3 million.
That's 2.3 million, I'm sorry.
Brett, do you,
I didn't go to Penn Trafford. I
Didn't
went
get
to
screwed
Trafford.
that much.
Sorry about that.
Dr.
Gateway,
Harris, can you explain that disparity that Jim's talking about?
That's also based on the percentage of students.
Yeah, but
Is
there-
it
Well, how is
possible- can we
Norman's
get to- can we get
different
to
than
the
us
vote
by,
on this?
approximately 30%?
well, Gateway got almost 6 million, 5,900. Yes?
Can we get to the
Oh,
vote
I'm
on
sorry.
this, Jim?
Sure.
I mean, I,
Go ahead.
nothing against that, but I think, you know, that's distracting away from what we got going on here. I'd like to get to a vote on this
Yeah.
motion.
I'm just saying that the revenue needed here at Penn Trafford, I think, is insufficient at 1 mil, looking at the money that we're getting. So anyway, we have a motion, discussion.
I'll just
Ready for
pull,
a motion?
I'll pull the board.
All right.
Mrs. Issing,
Yes.
Mr. Kachasik,
Yes.
Mr. Dallas Leonard,
A very hesitant yes.
Mr. Matarazzo,
No.
Mr. Nemec,
Yes.
Mr. Petrucci,
Yes.
Mr. Petrucci votes yes. Mr. Stovar.
Yes.
Motion
So
passed.
by a vote of yes, 6-1, motion carries.
Okay, motion carried.
Thank you, because I do appreciate the 1 mil.
And just for the record, the millage rate for Trafford Borough would be 15.08.
That's Allegheny County.
That's Allegheny County, correct?
And
Correct.
now
Sorry,
we have
Mr.
pulled the
Petrucci,
vote, I
correct.
do have
Thank
a
you.
That's all I
comment,
have, Mr. President.
Thank you.
a comment on what Mr. Matarazzo started with. The disparities that I view, he highlighted a couple. City of Philadelphia got almost $3 billion of our tax dollars. And there's so much money going other places, it's not coming here. That's what makes me hesitate about these votes and these money things. It's difficult.
Well, and I'll just make one more comment about, there's a proposal in the legislature right now that wants to expand this new funding formula that was passed several years ago. And that formula only applied to new dollars that the state put into the budget. There's now a push to spread that over all dollars in education, and we will fare just as poorly under that plan as we do under this plan. So it's not a proposal we'd like to see passed. Westmoreland County in general will fare very poorly under that plan, so just keep an eye on the new funding formula they're talking about.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Years
Leonard.
ago, the last time this was passed, I think we were 16th out of 17 school districts in the county.
That's correct. And we'd be the same again.
We were bottom 5% of the state.
That's because we're super frugal management.
That's where we were.
Yeah. Well, as Dr. Harris just said, we're in the bottom 5% of the state in terms of the increases, so this would only exacerbate that, in all honesty, so.
And in the top 5 in performance.
Yeah.
All right, this time move to personnel and curriculum. Mr. Kachasik.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. And on to some more pleasant things. Before I read the motion, just want to welcome everybody here. Congratulations. It's a very exciting time for you as you start your careers. So we welcome you. Congratulations. And please, 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 correct me if I mispronounce your name. We want it for the record to be spot on, so. I move to employ, not I, we move to employ the following personnel. New employment is contingent upon the receipt of all necessary documentation and the acceptance of Act 34, 151, 114 waivers from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania within 30 days. A copy of the personnel list will become an official part of the minutes of this meeting. Jessica Myers, kindergarten teacher at Sunrise School I'm just going to leave it at that. Effective hire date at August 23rd, 2021. Emily Petsampoo, a grade 1 teacher at Sunrise School. Effective date August 23rd, 2021. Daniel Gordon, grade 2 teacher at Sunrise Elementary School. At an effective date of August 23rd, 2021. Caitlin Pratt, grade 5 teacher at Sunrise Elementary School. Effective date, August 23rd, 2021. Kaylee Zona, grade 1 teacher at McKell Elementary School. Effective date of August 23rd, 2021. Kimberly Ohl, grade 3 teacher at McKell Elementary School. Effective date, August 23rd, 2021. Nick Caparoso, social studies teacher at Penn Middle School. Effective date, August 23rd, 2021. Allie Kleinschmidt, special education teacher at Harrison Park. Effective date, August the 23rd, 2021. Laura Carestas, special education teacher at Trafford Elementary and Sunrise Elementary Schools at effective date of the August 23rd, 2021. Michelle Stutkus, certified school nurse, district-wide, effective date August 23rd, 2021.
Second.
Question?
Okay, it's moved. Seconded, question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
All right.
Glad to have you aboard.
I'm gonna jump,
Congratulations.
and your resident's name's great.
Well, I wanted you to correct me if
I was
wrong.
waiting, because there's a couple there that I still don't get, but,
I still have one more motion, and then we can come back. if you
oh,
don't mind.
absolutely.
Now we're going to accept retirement. Move to accept the following retirement resignation. Anna Belovac, teacher at Level Green Elementary School, effective June 1st, 2021.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
Questions?
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, and I actually have 7 out of the 10 people here. I'm just gonna bring them up for a brief
Yes, please.
second.
Please do.
Just to introduce them and to the board. Very proud. Actually, I'm very proud. I know I was trying to fight for more mills earlier tonight, because we do have a district that's growing. We had 4 retirements this past year, but we're hiring 10 new teachers as a result of a lot of different housing plans coming in, more housing and the need. And I'm also watching that need the following years coming too as well. So we're gonna be having some more hires next year as well. And I'm just trying to get ahead, and we also had a lot of our numbers for our special education numbers rise as well. So we are having it, so I'm very happy to have everyone here tonight was hired from in-house, meaning they all started as either a sub, worked their way up either as a tutor, they were an SLA for several years, and they've been with us. So I know each of everyone personally. I was their reference, myself and the principals. It was very easy to contact myself and Scott. Right? Scott's still debating, but no debates there. No, but we really got to know everyone. We got to watch them. I already say the best way to come in the door, because I get a lot of people who call and say, well, I don't want to sub, I just want to apply for the job. I say, well, we take our subs, we take our SLAs, because really by the time they're done, they went through all of our training for reading, and it's intensive. They went through all of our math, our science, social studies. It's almost like you're like working, and at the end of 2 years or 3 years in some cases, or a little bit longer, it's like, well, do you really want that person here? I'm like, yes, I absolutely do. So it's nice. It's a good system. Going through it, you probably thought, why am I doing this? Why, I could try to go out, but I'm glad you stayed. I'm glad you were patient, and I'm glad it finally worked out, because like I said, our enrollment is growing and we're doing well, so it's nice to see, and I'm glad that you're here. But for a couple of names, they're in Florida, and they asked if they could come in, or I'm like, just stay in Florida. So obviously you can get it, but I'm glad for the ones who could make it tonight. Emily Fetzenpoop, if you can just come up. And you actually brought you have your kids with you and your husband? You want to take a second to introduce them first?
Yeah, I have my husband yet, and my 3 daughters, Malia, Kalena, and Licia.
Thank you so much for bringing them. And Emily, although you've been 2 years at Harrison Park, you actually had it, how many years in California?
11 years. I taught first and second grade, and then reading intervention. So,
And what brought you back to the area?
my husband, I grew up here. I'm actually from a local competitor district, Norwin. I figured if you can't beat them, join them. So here I am. And we were in California, and my husband wanted to be closer to family. And to be honest, his family was in Northern California, which is like extremely expensive to live. and my family was here in Pittsburgh, and for him, it was like a new adventure to come to this area, so I never thought I would be back here, not because it's not a lovely place, but I had been in California for 11 years. I went to school in Utah before that, and so I had been away for 16 years. And so then we relocated really to be closer to family and to have grandparents involved in our kids' lives. So,
Well, I'm glad you're back. I know the schools, Mr. Schwartz thought very highly of you. There wasn't really, it's kind of funny when they're in SLA, sometimes there's an opening not at the building. So they go to a new building, it's like you're starting a whole new place, but it's really the same district. I always try to tell everyone. So you'll be at Sunrise teaching grade 1, so.
right, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I had a great time at Harrison Park with great families, great students, great staff. So I look forward to my new adventure at Sunrise.
We're so glad you're hired.
And could I throw out one more thing? Thank you for keeping SLAs last year, because I know that was something that was up for debate, and it was like, oh, I've got my foot in this system, and to see it disappear, it was like, you go back to nothing, but it's been a really great system and a great way to get people acquainted to this district, so thank you for keeping.
Absolutely.
and
They
thank you
used
for
any,
hiring me.
they said last year, any
Dr.
funds
Harris fought the
dollars.
good
and-
fight for that.
It's also a great way for this district to get acquainted to new employees before they make the final decision to bring them in at the full rate.
Right.
So it's a good program.
Yeah, and it's less overwhelming starting because you've already been in the district for a few years and you've been acquainted with how things work, so it's a very nice system.
Did they get your name right?
They did, yeah. It was
I
perfectly
was looking
done,
at that
yeah.
and I was
I'm used to just answering to Emily, and then I know it's me.
well, we may have to address you in the future, so I just want to make sure we're getting it right.
Yeah, that was correct.
Now, where will your girls go to school?
No, they're still.
They're
she
at
lives in
Norwin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's been here about 2 years. So.
Okay, well, no, just, they'll be local. Good.
yeah.
All right,
All right,
thank
well,
you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Danielle Gordon, and we have an alumni with us. Danielle, how are you doing?
Hi, good.
Congratulations. She's gonna, how long were you, you actually were in SLA at Sunrise, so you're actually gonna stay in the building. How long
Yes.
were you in SLA?
I was in SLA for K-2 for 2 years, and then I was a long-term sub in second grade for about 6 months before that.
And you're here. And then you're a graduate. I don't want you to give your year now.
Yeah, 2010.
2010, so it was nice to have you back. And
Who's
then,
your favorite principal?
Not you.
Of course, you.
how does it feel to be back?
Feels wonderful. I'm very excited, and it has been my dream to be a teacher since I was in second grade, and now I am a second grade teacher, so I'm excited for this new journey.
Great. Well, we're excited to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Caitlin Pratt is also, she was coming home today. She said she doesn't know if she'd make it or not, but she'll be teaching 5th grade. And prior to this, Caitlin, I think she was at SLA for 3 years, long-term sub last year. She kind of did kind of both of everything. So it's nice to see her. She'll be at Sunrise. And she also taught either, I want to say North Carolina, South Carolina. I can't remember right now which, North Carolina? Okay. Good. Kaylee Zona, another alumni, is here tonight. Come on up, Kaylee.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you'll be teaching 1st grade at McCullough.
Yes, very
And
excited.
Prior to that, you were at Level Grade for 2 years as an SLA. And
Where I went to
prior
elementary
that,
school too
You
as
actually
well.
went to elementary.
Yes, so it was really neat to be back there. Work with some of my former teachers as well. So
And you had Mrs. Belovec, who, she came last week, so that's why
Yes.
when we retired her tonight, I didn't mention it.
she
because we
was
had
hands
something.
down the reason I went into teaching. So,
Wow.
and
Are you going to take over her cartwheels?
you know what? It's a possibility. I might still be able to pull one out. I don't know. Yeah. So before being an SLA, I was a PSSA tutor at Harrison Park too for about a half a year. So
So you have
Talk
experience
about
with
the hours
different
you worked
buildings.
at Lucci.
yeah, yeah.
You basically run the Lucci operation.
Yeah, you know what? I actually, in the past couple years, I went out to their other location in North Huntington.
Oh, okay.
So as a whole, I've been there 13 years with them. So I started when I was 15.
I called you, I think you was on your way to work, or you was working, you said you had 3 different jobs?
Yeah, so, well, I nanny. I work at the Brick House Tap and Grill in North Huntington, and then my family also owns a restaurant in North Huntington, so I work there as well.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Always
So
keep
what
them
restaurant's
busy.
that?
My family owns the Canned Tomato out
Oh,
in
okay.
Norwin Town Square. I always get them confused with Norton Hills.
Heard of it, haven't been there yet.
Yeah, so very busy, but very excited for this next adventure.
Well, your first grade is going to keep you busy.
Yeah.
Trust me. I always laugh. Well, not laugh. I always say the first grade is the one year that I don't think I would ever want to teach.
Oh, well, I'm very excited for it, so
All right. Well, congratulations.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Kimberly Ohl. Kimberly, you spent the last 2 years at Harrison Park doing various grades as an SLA. But prior to that, you were at what school district?
Prince William County in Northern Virginia for 5.5 years.
Okay. And during that time, how many, you taught what grades again?
I taught 4th grade and 5th grade. So I actually had the joy of moving up with one of my groups that year, so it was really exciting.
And then one thing about your position at McCullough, it seems like a floating, so you will be watching them in 3rd, and then with the numbers shifting, you will be going up to 4th grade. You might be doing the same.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
And unless the enrollment, like I said, we have a boom going on, especially at McCullough right now with all the new housing plans coming in. So there's a lot of homes coming, so you never know what happens.
Yep, but look forward to doing that if possible, so.
And we're glad you're here. And
All right, thank you. I'm very excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
another alumni we have coming up, Nick Caparoso. Nick just spent about 6 years with us, subbing, SLA, long-term subbing, everything.
Yeah, I did the last 4 years SLA and long-term subbing. I spent a year at Trafford and 5 years at Penn Middle, so.
Long time, but actually, he's actually dual certified, and he's social studies, which we don't always have a social studies opening, but he's also math. And he does an excellent job for math as well. I know you're a great social studies teacher, but Scott and then Mr. Simpson and everyone who works with you think you do an outstanding job for math. So even though that was your extra certification, you do an outstanding job with it, and the teachers
He's been a
over
critical
there.
part of our math scores at the middle school in terms of supporting all of our kids and teachers there. And there's a lot going on there, and he's been a big part of it, looking at the data and all the assessments and getting the kids ready. So appreciate that.
Yeah, I wanted to get certified in math just because I knew that, like you said, it's critical and it's something that I was hoping I could teach. And I was honestly surprised with how much I enjoy teaching it. So I'm looking forward to this year and seeing, doing a little bit of both potentially. So
You guys all graduate together.
yeah, me and Kaylee.
Nick and I
did.
graduated together.
Yeah.
You were
2011.
11, so we got a 10 and 11. Anybody else? That's it.
And then, well, my wife as well.
Does she need a job? We'll hire her tonight, too.
Maybe.
You're married, Nick?
Yes, yeah, I got married last June, so we're coming up on our 1 year.
I knew him when he was little, young.
Yep. Her husband was my first boss.
Right, and he would call, now this is like a 10-year-old calling my husband up and say, "Hello, Steve, how are you?" He's like, he's the only one that doesn't say, "Hello, Mr. Ising." "Hey, Steve, how are you?"
Well, you know where I got that from.
Your brother.
Yeah.
But Nick, anything we ever wanted from you, you've done. In fact, the very first time you were subbing, you still worked at Dairy Queen at the time.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I saw him at the school, and then of course, no surprise, I do go to Dairy Queen quite often after work. Said, I'm like, wait a second, I just saw you, and you're like, hi, and you so.
Yeah, I was there for 9 years, so
Yep,
I started there my freshman year of high school, and it was just, all through college, it was easy, extra money, to make, and I was, like you said, comfortable there, so.
Absolutely.
Definitely, and of course, once again, that's where I met my wife.
Then you have to stay there, absolutely.
Technically, so, yeah, worked out.
I always thought that was funny. I'm like, hey, Nick. But no, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Allie Kleinschmidt, come on up. Now, Allie, you actually started with us 2012.
2012.
Started in 2012, but she actually started as a librarian aide at Harrison Park. So, and
Yes.
is that actually when you went back to school to get your teaching degree? or you
After the
wanna-
first year in that position, I decided that I wanted to go back to school to get the teaching certificates.
When she was at Harrison Park as the library aide, I actually thought she actually had a teaching degree and was just doing that because, as a parent, like sometimes we have some parents who work, and then she surprised me and said, "No, I'm going back to get my teaching degree," because she was a natural. I mean, right away when you see the library and the things she was doing at the time, it was just tremendous. And all the hours she puts in, like even this past couple of summers, I see her up there watering plants. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? So she puts a lot of time into the Harrison Park over the years, and I really appreciate everything
She
you've done.
responds for all those flower pots out there. You know what she does? Her trunk is packed with gallons of water.
It's actually a hose.
Well,
I
no,
carry it.
Mr. Schwartz told me you had your trunk full of gallons of water, and he's offered, I'll give you the hose if you want the hose, but it's much easier. She would be up there on a Saturday night in the middle of summer watering plants, but she's very dedicated. We appreciate your
Thank you.
dedication.
It's a lot of fun. My kids grew the flowers this year, so that's exciting. We're supplementing a little bit, but they did grow them,
Yeah,
so.
her kids, and
My-
she had a little green thumb project, so her kids actually grew, what
Yeah.
were magnolias or whatever? A little bit of everything.
Impatiens and petunias.
little bit.
It was, we taught some science lessons, like hands-on. They used real materials instead of worksheets. And then it was a nice little break time activity between lessons too. So they were excited and proud. It'll be fun to put those
You
in.
deserve it. Congratulations.
You were a lot of hard work, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And she'll be at Harrison Park, working in the special education teacher, so thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Congratulations.
And how many kids do you have left in the district?
I have two in the district, one just graduated.
One just graduated. Okay. Laura Carestas? Laura just finished 2 years as an SLA, and prior to that, she subbed and actually started student teaching at Sunrise. She worked at 2 different buildings, Trafford.
Harrison Park and McCullough.
Harrison Park and McCullough, so
Yes.
she was a split SLA. So you had to go through both. So both principals raved about you, and they appreciated your flexibility, and they said when you came, you was always happy. And I know it's hard to leave your day from one building and go to another building, but you did it, and you never missed a beat. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're going to be at Level Green and Trafford.
I'll be at Trafford
So you're
and
still going to be
Sunrise.
traveling. See, what you did such a nice job traveling. See, we're going to keep you as a traveling special ed teacher. See, so
Well, Dr. Harris, the one thing I gotta tell everybody, she came to the interview, and we were upstairs waiting for the next candidate, and somebody came up and said, "Hey, there was an accident out front," and here she had been rear-ended on her way to the interview.
Yes.
And I mean, talk about getting rattled before an interview. I mean, and she came up the step. I figured she's going to be an emotional wreck. She's crying, and she was so composed. And she nailed it too. She wasn't offbeat at all.
No, in my new car too.
And
It
when
was
you-
not yet
Brand
2
new
weeks
car.
old.
2 weeks old, she just got it. And someone was actually looking at the house across the street. Is that what they were doing, or?
I believe.
That's what they said. Put it on record. It wasn't your fault. Now get it on the minutes. No, but also in addition to this, how many years have you worked, you're still at Kennywood?
I'm still at Kennywood, yes. This is my 7th season at Kennywood as a games and retail manager. And then I spent those each summer there, and then off seasons for Fright Nights and Holiday Lights. And in addition to teaching in Kennywood, I'm also a dance teacher.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you work with
Impressive.
Nick Paradise?
What?
Did you work with Nick
I
Paradise?
know Nick, yeah.
Yeah, Nick,
Yes,
quite a nice move for him going up there.
yes.
Good man.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you. And Michelle Stukas, and I wish Michelle was here because she actually takes the prize. She actually subbed for us as a school nurse since 2009. 2009, she was with us in and she did an outstanding job this past year with everything with the health and the safety plan. But as you know, we don't have, I think we only have 3 nursing positions in the whole district. So it was very hard for an opening, but with Amy, who came last week and was at the ceremony, Mark Alinsky retired, she was, we didn't, like I said, we didn't even have to go out because she was in-house as all 10 of these people, my teachers were in-house this year, so it's great, and I'm proud, and I've done very good, because I know one of the things you evaluated me on my staff, and so I could gladly say with confidence that I'm very proud of all of you, and I completely believe that you would do an excellent job, and you're committed to kids, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now we can clap.
And I laughed, I told him, I'll just go real quick, and I never do that, because I just had to go on, and I just have the ability, so.
Do Do you need some time to take pictures, or we'll wait till we're done? Okay. And we're almost done, so they can, you know, congratulations. I'd like to shake your hands, but we're still in the.
All right, and that takes us down and,
Yeah, just one more left.
Number 8.
Made it, huh?
Go to number 8.
Mr. Leonard?
Yep.
Under taxes, insurance, and census, there is one motion, and that motion subject would be to set the millage rate. So that motion will be it resolved and hereby resolved by the Board of School Directors of Penn Trafford School District that there is hereby assessed, levied, and imposed for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022, a tax on all real estate in districts subject to taxation at the rate of 88.25 mils, assessed valuation of taxable property. The real estate tax rate for the Allegheny County portion located in Trafford Borough is
15.08.
15.08. Okay, I didn't have that one calculated.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. We have someone second.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Question.
Question? Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So at this time, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Been moved, seconded. Any questions? All in favor?